Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Welcome back to Muslim Basketball Podcast. I'm your host, Ibrahim Sharaf, and I'm here with two very special guests. Go ahead and introduce yourselves.
Sami Shaban.
Kareem, Shaban.
Welcome. First father-son duo that we've had on the pod here. This is gonna be great. So actually, I don't have. Well, first of all, before we get into the regular league stuff, we want to make sure we remember Palestine in our du'as. Again, that's the running theme for Muslim basketball, and we always want to bring attention and awareness to it. So, keep them in your du'as, and let's keep moving forward. All right, guys. All right. So next steps. I don't have announcements for the general league stuff. Just make sure you have your jerseys and the numbers are correct on the website. Jersey penalties are in full effect, as you guys probably have known. The old jerseys do not save you from the jersey penalty, as some teams have found out.
I found out personally. Yes.
Should be allowed.
But they're not, unfortunately. It's not even my call. It's just bringing the news here. Okay, before we go into our game recaps, I'm going to do something a little bit new just so we can get to know the co-hosts of the podcast here. Just have a couple questions to have for you guys. So we're going to go some rapid fire questions here. Keep you guys on your toes.
Let's go.
So first, Kareem.
Yeah.
So, around the league, some people, and it's not really me, but it's other people in the league that refer to you as a free throw merchant.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that? Is that accurate? Tell me.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love the energy that's going past me. Like, I go to the basket and I try to get a call. I've been playing basketball for a lot of my life. I know how to get calls. Like, I can teach them. I can make a whole mini camp. Y'all can all come.
The rules are there to protect you, to be honest.
Exactly.
So at the end of the day, if you're
why
taking
not
advantage
use it to
of
my advantage?
Right.
Somebody taller is have an advantage of being tall. As a shorter guard in the league, you gotta.
And you seem like the type of person to really take that criticism and kind of fuel the fire. In the game.
I've been doing it for my whole life, so it's on to the next thing.
I got a great free throw percentage.
He does.
Too, so
I think he's the best free throw shooter in the league. Actually,
he might be.
So that's great.
I don't even go in anymore. I look at him. He goes, "No, don't go in." I just walk away.
Yeah, pretty accurate.
So that's great. Okay. And Sami, so some people say that you're I don't know, did you start Muslim basketball? Tell me about that kind of stuff. Because I've heard a lot of things. I don't know.
Yeah, so I'm one of the directors of the league. It's been around since 2006, alhamdulillah. So actually I'm wearing a shirt that says 10 years, and this was from 2016, and we already had 20 seasons. So alhamdulillah, I'm still one of the directors. There's 4 of us, and it's been expanding. We've got three divisions now in North Jersey, Central Jersey, and in Pennsylvania, alhamdulillah. And now we're part of a national tournament. I do want to add to your dua, though, that one of our commissioners up north, Idris, his wife Zali, she's been in the hospital for the past few days. She's still in critical care. So if anyone's listening to this, just please drop her a dua. The child is also in the NICU, and believe me, Muslim basketball wouldn't be anywhere near where it is without a few people, and Idris is certainly one of them. And so please keep them in your dua.
May Allah give her shifa, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Okay, let's see. What other questions did I have? Oh, tell me about your guys' team culture. What happens? No, because to be honest,
basically we make mistakes and there's a bunch of yelling, and then we get coached up, and then we run it back, and then we do it again.
No, because honestly,
that expression, leave it all on the court. We leave it all on the court.
No, because we're 1-4 right now, right? Yeah. And it's not great. You know what I mean? It does not feel great, right? So it's different. Obviously, you guys have a winning record, right?
Yeah, alhamdulillah.
Okay, so you're saying the arguments and the toxicity is still there. Win or lose.
I don't think it's toxicity. I don't think it's that, but I think that there's a look. It's no secret, we're probably the oldest team, right? So we pride ourselves on having a high basketball IQ and not making stupid mistakes, right? We're not going to beat teams with our athleticism. We're going to beat teams because we just understand the game a little bit better and we can run plays a little bit more efficient. So when we don't do those things, when we don't execute well, then, we get frustrated, but we've all been playing with each other for years, most of us. So I think it's all handled in that way. And alhamdulillah, winning does help with
Yeah.
with easing that part.
We should have like cutscenes of like what you're saying now, and then like you yelling, like right back to this scene.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Do I have any other questions for you guys? Okay, if somebody on your team, right, takes like a stupid shot, what happens? Like, does anybody say anything? Is everybody say something?
Someone says something.
I think I usually take on the role of the person who says something, because I'm trying to enforce an infrastructure, a culture of team first and move the ball around. We have some amazing shooters on our team. We've got Ahmad, we've got Kareem, we've got Farhan, we've got pretty much, I would like to think of us almost like a very bootleg version of the Boston Celtics, where all 5 people can actually shoot the ball and make a move. So when you take a bad shot, it makes no sense, because if you had just made another pass or two, somebody would have been open. There are teams that are structured where like, okay, there's 1 or 2 people that are a little bit, and you structure that way, and I'm fine. I've played on teams like that. But our team's not like that. So there's really little room for that type of play, because it actually shows a little bit of selfishness and not trusting your team.
If you're taking a bad shot, you're inherently saying that there is not a better shot that my team could have taken.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? So,
Right.
Yeah, I agree. It's funny. I've recently been put in that role where after our loss this week, I wrote out a text to my entire team, starting with, "At the risk of being disliked." So,
Disclaimer.
I get it, you know what I mean? And I guess props to you, because it's no fun being in that position, but it's what the team needs to win, right? Like, that's kind of,
And I enforce it week on week. Like, this is a team first culture. It's not about individual stats. It's about moving the ball around and getting the best. And I told them each week we should have a different player that's the guy, right? That's the way it should be.
Yeah, feeding the hot hand. Like my dad said, we have so many people that can score, and I think that when put in the right position, we're going to make shots. And I actually don't think that you've seen us actually fully healthy. I think there's always been a lot of injuries behind the scenes, even when we're all on the court. But I'm excited to see what we can do when we're all healthy.
Yeah.
Okay, inshallah. And your final question, this is going to go out to both of you guys. So it's no secret that you guys used to be a big part of the now Sabra team, the old Rafah team, right? So tell me about that divorce. Is it an amicable divorce? Are you guys paying child support? Like, what's going on here?
I wouldn't call it a divorce.
Yeah, you talk first. You want to? I don't know. I don't got it.
This is also coming after a win, right? So you guys had the upper hand this last week.
I didn't even play. I was really open to playing this game because there's probably a bit of a rivalry now.
Right.
Yeah, I was injured. Kareem was injured. But we never were on that team. We were put on as free agents.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So they took us on, and it was great. We had a great run. But I think Ryan, with his brother coming out of residency and so on, needed to make room for Muhammad. And so I think also with the league expanding, it was an opportunity. We're part of another group of older guys, right? We play at Lifetime. And so it was just like a natural fit. There wasn't even a discussion around it. It was more like, yeah, we're free agents this season, but there was almost like it's almost unspoken.
Right.
But to be clear, we were never invited back. I'm just, you want
We never asked to be back either.
but we never, okay.
I mean, like, it go.
I think they're a great team. I think they're very talented. I think there's a lot of things that come good. I think Amrabat is a great player, great rebounder. I think Rayyan, he could be a playmaker when put in the right positions. He can make great plays. Like Malik, unbelievable player when put in the same position. So I really love that team.
Yeah, and a huge upgrade with Mohammed Al-Banna there. And then Ahmed say that I haven't seen too much of. I think he's a really good shooter, but I haven't seen too much of that. And Aboudi is just a hustler, man. Like, mashallah, he does his thing. They're great guys. We hugged it out after the game.
That's good. That's great.
It was all love, man.
That's great.
It was all love.
I love to hear that.
Yeah, and alhamdulillah.
No more stirring the pot, I promise.
Yeah, man, what's up with that?
I knew that question was going to pop up too. I'm like, oh, really?
Well, I mean, it was perfect. I
That.
had like you guys both here, right? So I was like, oh, I'm not doing my job as a podcaster host if I don't ask that question.
To be honest, I think we could have won. Like, I think even with that team, we could have won this year.
Yeah,
I think there's a lot of.
you guys had a finals run. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And it was not a bad game. It was a close game, right?
Yeah, very close game. We were down by, I think, 10 or 15 points. We closed it to within 2 or 4, and we just had some bad turnovers late.
I think the only thing I struggled with was a little bit of the chemistry in sense of everyone finding their position, everyone understanding what their role is in the team. And I think that in the season we got really good at it, but some reason in the playoffs, everyone's role kind of got a little shaky. So some people thought that maybe they should be taking more of this on. So I think that we needed to finally understand. And I think that game showed a lot. And I think even with the team, like I said, I think we could have won this year with that team.
Yeah.
But okay, without further ado, let's get into the games this week. I think I'm gonna keep that segment. I like it. Actually, I'm gonna ask everybody. I'm gonna prepare questions.
All right, we're the original.
I like that, man.
All right, so first game, which Sami was saying earlier, it looks like game of the week here. 4-1 records. Actually, now it looks like 4-1, but it was Nazareth, I think it's Nasira and Arabi, was 4-0 versus Areeha, which was 3-1, and Areeha edged them out 1 point. So,
yeah, that's crazy.
Crazy game. They held Oman Mana to, wait, never mind. I thought I read that somewhere.
At 17, it says here.
Yeah, never mind.
But 3 for 12 shooting. I mean, that's
for
not
the free throw. Yeah.
Yeah.
They pushed him to the line a lot. It looks like, but he had 17 and 13, so he played well.
That might be an interesting strategy for teams. Hack a shot.
That's what I was thinking that too.
Because he was 7 for 11 from actual field goal.
In the Muslim basketball,
because he takes a lot of close range shots.
Yes, he's really good at that. But in the Muslim basketball rules, you apparently can't intentionally foul or something like that.
But who's gonna tell?
We could always change them rules, you know what I'm saying?
This been a game.
We got the right people in the room for that.
Yeah, the commissioner here. Why not just change on the spot?
But Shafiq also played really well. 8 for 15, 19 points and 4 rebounds, 6 assists. You always expect him to go off as well. But Oman Mana in the very end fouled out, and I think that was kind of like that.
Yeah, he's the heart of the team. I mean, look, 13 rebounds, 2 assists. I mean, he's definitely the heart of the team.
Rebounds are critical.
And if you also
NBR
see,
41 is crazy.
Yeah, he's
crazy.
insane. And him and Shafiq both have pretty he's 30, Shafiq.
Yeah.
But Ilyas also had 10 points, 4 rebounds, 14 points for Amir Hassan.
Look, man, Team Abbasi did their thing.
They sure did. 9 for 17 from Forsan.
Damn, how many Abbasis, bro? What?
Bro, yeah, this is not
I was looking at the list. I'm like, I
It's
think
not
both apply.
team. But Forsan actually,
Or
he has...
It feels like an outside. Like this is a whole family reunion, and he just pops in.
And Jaime too. He's not.
Yeah.
He's not an Abbasi either.
I was talking about people that really this league was built on their shoulders. If there was like a Mount Rushmore of Muslim basketball, Heidi's face would be on it. I mean, the amount of work that man has put in. He started working with Muslim basketball maybe when he was 14, 15 years old. By the time he was like 15, 16, he was our stats manager. By the time he was like 17, he was our commissioner. I might be getting some of these dates off, but very, very young and very, very capable person. And mashallah, a lot of the growth that we've experienced has come through his hands. May Allah give him much barakah in his life, inshallah.
What's it called?
But 2 points, Jaime. I mean, come on, bro.
Yeah, he's 1 for 1 though. 100% from the field.
He was probably doing some commissioner stuff.
4 personal fouls. Are the personal fouls the commissioner duties?
Yeah. No, he must be the bruiser that's out there. That he takes care of the other guy. He's probably who got Alabama in trouble.
But if you guys saw the game, Forsan, he has like this like incredible knack to just like be in the right place at the right time.
Yeah,
like
no, he's a great player.
If his defender is slipping, he's gone.
Yeah.
Like he's
a great player.
Gone. Like
he's a great player.
Right by that, he gets a good layup. He had some pull-up jumpers by the free throw line in the game. Yeah, 23 points on the night, 3 steals, 3 rebounds. He played great basketball, mashallah.
Mashallah.
And Little also had a great night. 14 points, 6 for 9 shooting. Honestly, I'm more used to seeing him not shoot well this season than shoot well. But this is a great game for him. 14 points, 4 rebounds, 6 assists, and a steal. I just have to give him a hard time because he held our team to 1 point in the second half last night. So,
wait, that's a thing? You scored 1 point?
Our team scored 1 point.
In a whole second half?
Were you guys playing basketball? Or did
no,
you guys...
we were not playing basketball. I can confirm.
You guys changed the sport?
I can confirm.
Yo, watch this.
I can confirm
show you how
we were
little
not
we can
playing
score.
basketball.
I didn't watch that half.
You accidentally scored a basket here.
They should have just like launched.
It was a free throw.
It was bad.
You played all 20 minutes? Or was it shortened?
No, it was 20 minutes. Yeah, it was embarrassing. So I have to give him a hard time. But if we beat you guys next week, then that also means that you
You guys
guys
are playing this?
Yeah, we're playing you next
Ooh.
week. So,
Both of us are probably not playing. so
Really?
we-
Is this?
yeah.
Are you guys still?
Yeah, I got
Ankle
to
like
let
a
it heal.
bubble.
His ankle was like a grapefruit, man. It was all black and blue, up and down. Yeah,
Knees, basketball. They just go.
Yeah, man.
All right, yeah. Back to the game. It was really close. It was back and forth the entire way. I think it was a great showing from like the entire Nazareth team was like they were all pretty much contributors here, and on the Areeha side you had big games from Fursan and Omar.
I think that's a
Manuel.
good identifier of like a good team. Like I like seeing how balanced the score sheet
Yeah.
is. Like I don't see like when I see somebody with more scoring, like when I look at Arish, like it's good, but I feel like Nazareth had a lot more balance. And
Yes,
like
yeah.
it looks like they're more, at least in this game, it looks like a more balanced team and more of a deadly threat of scores, which
Right,
I really
right.
like seeing.
When I look at this overall sheet, though, there's one thing that just pops out at me. And like as a coach, I just
A coach, oh,
no, it's not the rebounds are tied at 26, assists 13 for Nazareth, 10 for Areeha. Really, the one thing that stands out is the free throw shooting. If you tell me 7 for 22,
Damn.
that's 15
Damn.
chances they had to tie that game. 15 chances, right? If you tell me 31%, these guys shot 67 for Areeha, that was the difference in the game. Free throws are going to win you championships. If they continue to shoot like that, they're going to have a problem. But if they can turn that around, they're going to be a problem.
Yeah, that's a very good call out, actually. Yeah, I think that feels like if it's on your back, like Omar Mana it was 3 for 12 from the free throw line. Like,
Yeah.
just think that if he just hit one more,
he's too good of a player to.
Right.
Because if people start finding out that if I can just foul you to get you to the line, you're gonna miss these free throws.
then it's just star possession.
And that's crazy. Scored 62 points, and you missed that many free throws.
Yeah,
Think about how many shots they took that they were fouled on.
could have been a blowout.
Right? This would have been a whole different game.
Yeah. Yeah, this looks like honestly this game ends up being a statement from Areeha. Like they're 4-1 now. They're just as good as Nazareth, who was the top team in the league. They were the number 1 team before this. They were the only undefeated last
I think that's right, because even Areeha's 4-1 includes a Yazur forfeit, right? So they hadn't really been tested. Didn't Areeha play? Wasn't that one of their?
Oh, you're right. It is. You're right.
One of their
Yeah.
their real test was actually a forfeit.
Their only loss this year was to Sabra, actually,
Yeah.
by
So
1 point.
So that means they hadn't really been tested. So now you're battle tested. Now you've actually shown the league that you're at that level.
And they have a big game coming up next week against Baysan, which is going to be very interesting to see. But we'll leave that for the predictions. Let's go on to the next game, fellas.
That's it.
All right, so we have Akka versus Bir Seb'a, and newsflash, we lost again.
Warning.
So if you were to watch the tape back, there would be a couple of glaring things. And I say this, I love my team. You know what I mean? I think we've had our differences, but I do love my team, especially after the game. I called each and every single one of them, and I sent that text that I mentioned before.
Right.
And I had a pretty big conversation with everybody, and like it's just we basically took a lot of dumb shots. You know what I mean? And it fell on like mainly 1 or 2 people that were taking a lot of shots, and they just could have been better shots. I personally, I know it says 1 for 8 next to my name, but I actually counted. I shot 6 shots. It wasn't 8.
I feel like that all the time
because
too.
I feel like my stats. I feel like my stats. I was like, dude, I did not.
If I get so like, nah, that's 15 shots. Like when you all say 15 shots, I was pressed. I'm like, I will promise you I didn't shoot that.
I just rolled my eyes every time.
Because honestly,
I promise you I only had 7 shots.
Sometimes it doesn't feel like last week, Mahmoud Zayed had it said on the stat sheet he took 15 shots. And I was doing the stats on that game. I was like, I don't remember you taking 15 shots. And he was like, you know something? I didn't take 15 shots, whatever. I went back and I counted. I was like, no, he took 15 shots. But like, I get it. Sometimes it feels that way. So like for me, I looked at that. I was like 1 for 8. I was like, that's BS. I did not take 6 threes. I did not. I was like, I'm going to watch this game and count it again. I actually was 1 for 6, which is not much better, right? But it just matters to me. You know what it is?
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like Omar Osmani, Omar Khan didn't have the best shot selection. A lot of times Omar Osmani, who's a great scorer,
Yeah.
took it inside and he would draw the defenders around him, and he would still put it up, even though he had 2-3 people around him. And that extra pass, I feel like, would have opened things up for us, right? Omar Khan as well. A lot of times our offensive possessions would just stop right after the first pass. You'd get the ball, shoot a contested 3, and it was just like, great, now we got to hustle back on defense, you know, like, and it was just like, yeah, sometimes it would go in, but that doesn't mean that it's a good shot, right? Like, and I think that honestly told a lot of the story. Also, like, our defensive matchup against Enes, who we know is their best player, like, I initially wanted to cover him from the beginning, but I think my team feared for, like, my personal, like, mobility, and since I'm, you know, recovering from the injury and stuff like that, they wanted me to not really guard him and save my energy offensively, all that kind of stuff. But so they ended up having Yusuf and Omar Osmani on him in the first half for the most part, and he kind of just shot right over them.
25.
I was going to say, I wouldn't put Yusuf on him.
Yeah.
I think you need to put somebody a little bit taller.
And props to Yusuf. Yusuf is a great defender. It's just
Yusuf's great.
He's different position.
It's
positional.
Right.
Yeah, like,
right.
It's hard as a guard.
Yusuf's a hustler, man. That dude gives his all.
As a guard, it's hard to.
I'm just saying, for Edison specific, you probably want a hand in his space, and you want somebody when he drives in just to give him a little bit of trouble.
Especially 25 shots, he's shooting half.
Well, he's a lot of their offense. The thing that confounds me about this team is Mahmoud Zaid, because he is somebody who is a fantastic 3-point shooter.
Yeah.
But when it gets to game time, he just it's something. He's rushing his shots. He's not in position. They gotta formulate. I mean, he won the 3-point contest by a mile. They've got to be able to figure out how to give him picks, almost the same way that like they do with little O on Areeha. Get 2-3 picks for him. Get him open. This guy can hit.
Yeah.
He can hit, and just slow him down a little bit. Sinman with 22 boards is insane, right? That was it. To me, each game, I guess I'm going to pick something out. To me, the glaring thing here was the rebounding.
40 to 20.
Differential is
That's 20 boards.
insane. It's insane. Your whole team, not a single person double digits. You only had 2 people at 5.
Yeah.
And look at the assists, 7 assists for the whole team. And I know we're not great as a league in capturing assists, but still, those 2 are just not going to get it done. Like, to me, I know you focused a lot on the shooting, but you're not getting yourself second chance opportunities, and you're not moving the ball around.
And I think it's not the shooting specifically that I was kind of honing in on. It's more that, like, if you're taking a bad shot, that means you're not moving it around.
That's
you know
right.
what I mean? Like, and so like that's kind of what the problem was. It's like, I can't personally, if I'm taking 6 shots a game, like, you expect me to play 40 minutes of basketball and then get 6 total shots. Like, if you give me the ball one time after every 5 minutes or whatever it is, like, I'm gonna be cold. I'm not gonna be ready to shoot this ball, whatever it is. Like, and if I'm only getting it wide open by the 3-point, you've now turned me into a catch and shoot player, which is not my game. So I'm essentially
and you're talented in the boxing. I've seen you play before. You could be a talented player if your team uses you correctly.
So I'm kind of like being taken out of my position, and I feel like a lot of players on our team also feel that way, right? So that's something we're kind of working on. We know what our issue is, which is definitely a step in the right direction. We're just trying to like now iron them out. So hopefully this week.
I'll tell you that most teams score on the second or third chance opportunities, and if you're at 20 rebounds, you're not even. And that's where the shooting percentages also go up because of that, right? I gotta shout out to my boy Miraj, one of the old school guys, also, right? Plays very, very smart, mashallah. It doesn't show up on the stat sheet, 2 for 4 rebounds, but he facilitates a lot of stuff on that team. He moves the ball around. He doesn't make stupid mistakes, and just really, helps glue that team together.
But no, you're 100% right. It became like a rebounding issue more than anything. Like, they doubled us in rebounds. Like, that's unacceptable.
Right.
Right. Enes had a great game. He 26 points.
Who's supposed to be your rebounder? Who's your big?
Bilal Mateen.
Okay.
He's 6'3", and he's a great rebounder. The problem is, like I was kind of honing in on those shots. If you would see it on the game, like, some of those shots were being taken.
Yeah, that's Bilal. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So some of those shots that were being taken were like before even we got a chance to set up underneath the rim. So
there you go.
Like, there's no chance we're getting a rebound there.
So you're saying like coming out down the court and just shooting?
And then just pulling.
So who brings it down the court usually?
Usually Omar Osmani or Yusuf Shatila, my brother.
Okay.
And Omar Osmani sometimes would take it and go straight down the hole. So, and not that often for him, to be honest. But like, to be honest, if you're thinking about it, if
the feeling.
If it's him and Omar Khan on the court, and we're moving that ball around, and you swing it to Omar Khan, a lot of the times we just felt like, okay, that ball's going up. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
it's like, I'm never touching that ball again. You know what I
Right.
mean? And like, that was our problem. That was our, like, again, the ball movement was huge.
Yeah, you guys can work on that, inshallah. Bir Seb'a, if they can get Mahmoud to be like one of those knockdown shooters, man, you're gonna have Salvan, big. You're gonna have Enes, who's gonna be your 3 cutting in, and you're gonna have that shooter. They're gonna be a problem.
I honestly think that Mahmoud, if he just opened up more of his game inside the arc, it would lead to more opportunities outside the arc.
It doesn't have to be. Yeah, you're right.
I think like there was it was like the second half of last game, he started driving in more, and he missed a lot of them. And I'm not saying that he was like scoring them, but it just opened up different opportunities for him that like now you're keeping your defender guessing. You get that ball, they don't know if you're gonna drive in or shoot that ball.
But he's just such a great shooter. Like you can, a lot of times you can even look at the form of a player. Like when I look at his form, it's like a really good form. Like he knows how to shoot. It just sometimes like me and my dad will be watching him in the game and it'll be like, why is that not going in? Like it just everything looks like lining up. So maybe like sometimes as a shooter you need to see the ball go in. So it's maybe starting up at like the mid range. I don't know if he likes that, but starting up there and then slowly working way out
into that 3. And I think your point as well in that like his teammates kind of giving him those like those screens and getting him open like would definitely be big too. Yeah, it definitely would keep us guessing between Zaid and Enes, and then also Salman. Like if you have like he should be player of the week, to be honest, with a 12 and 22 game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's nasty.
Who was guarding him?
Bilal. Yeah, he was honestly though. Out Salman is what 6'5".
6'5", I think. He's a big dude. He's big too. He's big. Strong, yeah. He's big.
So don't really.
But still, 22. You maybe got to box it a little bit better. That's all.
I also feel like our team.
I was gonna ask because second half you guys tied them 21-21. So I was gonna ask about that. Like, it seemed like you guys did do some type of. We actually made a run
towards the end. Yeah, we cut it down because they were up by I don't know what was it. Yeah,
well, they're up by 12. Yeah.
We made. They were actually winning by more than that starting off the second half, and we cut it down to 12. We were lowering it from like a 20-point lead, and I felt like if we had more time, we'd be able to make it. Obviously, that's the, that's how you feel with every basketball game. But yeah, I definitely felt like we had a run towards the end there that felt good. But yeah. All right, I'm ready to forget about this one. But congrats, Bir Seb'a, for your first win. You now tie us in the standings, but we're still ahead of you because our point differential is better.
Wow. What do you think about the league right now?
Overall, the standings, you're saying?
Yeah, I feel like we've got like 4 teams, 5 teams that are at the top, and then you've got some in the middle, and then you've got some in the bottom. I mean, how do you feel like it's?
I feel like if you have more than 2 wins, you are in the running for like one of the top. You have a chance right now. Like if the playoffs started today, I would say any team that has 2 wins or more could potentially win. And obviously some teams more than others. But I've watched every single game, and like every team that has at least 2 wins have at least something together. Like their team looks generally okay or good. You know what I mean?
I didn't mean to set this up for the next game we're going to talk about, which is Haifa and Tulkarem. But Tulkarem to me is the exact epitome of what you were just talking about. They are a 2 and 3 team that I would not want to have to play.
Yeah.
Same with Baysan. They're not a team that anybody would like love to play against either, because they fight. They have a lot of talented players. They swing the rock. You know what I mean? Like,
and they don't even have 2 wins. Tulkarem. 1 is a forfeit.
Right.
So technically they have 1 win on the season.
Yeah.
So,
but look at this stat, which is crazy. They're 2 and 3, but they're actually positive on point differential. Right? They're 2 and 3, but they're actually positive on point differential, which tells you something. All their games were reasonable.
You'll see 47-49, 52-53,
you guys actually just beat them off that buzzer beater by which, by the way, they threw that game away. Like they should not have inbounded.
We should have not been in that game.
You shouldn't have been in that position in the first place. I agree, but they shouldn't have inbounded it 3/4 of the court. That's
I told them
Hodge's fault.
We stole that game from them.
I remember I talked to you after.
We stole that game from them. That was their game. Yeah.
But I think I love how competitive the league is this year. I think, again, 1 through, 9 is extremely competitive. 10, 11, 12, they're missing something. And I think that, like, it's not even that they're, like, that bad, like far away from it. It's just that they're missing a key element, right? There's something that they're missing.
Yeah.
That once they get that, they're up in there with everybody else, right? So it's just I really am happy about how competitive the league is. Like every week you have good games. You know, it's not really typical that you'll see every game, like more than one really game being a blowout. You know,
That's right. That's right.
All right, game 3, like you said, Haifa and Tulkarem. So Tulkarem took the win here, 56-49. Haifa's still looking for their first win, which is gotta be demoralizing at this point. I gotta have one of you guys on the pod, but it's not that this was far either. Tulkarem, again, like you said, is a great team. Oh wow, they got rocked in the first half. You see that?
Yeah,
13 points in the first half.
But when I walked into the gym,
Yeah.
this game I think was either tied or a 2-point game at the point, right? And I looked at it and I go, oh, here goes Tulkarem again. Because every time it's razor thin, and then they sell out. The last 2 minutes, it's like no, I'll be proud of you guys have to get this win. So I'm like, here it goes again. They pulled it out.
And they're too talented to be playing like that. Like, they're too talented to work that hard all game and then kind of throw it away at some of those games.
I'm going to say, arguably, they have the most impactful player
Freaking Messiah
of the league. This guy, Messiah. I think he's listed. Oh, no, he is listed at 6'8". But then I went up to him. His wingspan's even longer than
said it's 7 feet.
Yeah. And he was ranked like top 15 in his state. He's a young guy. And against us, I think he had 29 rebounds. This game, he has 19 points.
You're older than 19.
That's crazy.
I mean, 7 turnovers, though. That's a little bit much.
I mean, that's a good stat there for, like, that's a good omen for Haifa.
Right.
The fact that they forced Messiah, who we know is a great player, right, to turn over the ball 7 times. And look, Dasar, who is their center, who was guarding probably Messiah, had 7 steals.
Yeah.
Right? So
there you go. That's 1 for 1 right there.
Yeah. Which is pretty interesting there. Wahid, also another contributor on Tulkarem, 10 points, 6 rebounds. You got 10 rebounds by Mohsen, who's also, I think he's 6'5" as well. He's pretty tall. 8 points. I'm sorry. 9 points from Subhan. Yeah, it looks like they're starting to string things together.
I'm curious to see Subhan's new role on this team.
Yeah,
because last season Subhan was like he was their Kareem, right? He was the guy that took like a lot of shots and would just be shifty, moving on.
Even when I was guarding him, I expected to take way more shots, and I'm like,
but this season he only took 5 shots.
But I don't think it's positive for them. Like, I think he's in a position, he's such a good player. Like, he, with his height, is able to hit those middies that I'm like, he knows how to fade away.
Right.
He knows.
And he gets up on it. He
has a vertical. Yeah. And he knows his size. He knows what to do. I personally don't agree with what they're doing. I think he should be taking more shots. I think he has a good handle.
Looks like we also had technicals here. I gotta watch this game. I didn't see this one, but Yusuf Ashinawi and Messiah had technical.
I think, to me, the 2 stats that stand out the more to me, one is boards, but the other one is turnovers. I mean, Tulkarem, I think the reason this game was as close as it was, and probably what closed that gap, is they had 10 more turnovers.
Yeah,
22 turnovers is crazy. They're averaging a turnover every other minute.
Yeah, and it's they're the guys that took the most shots, that had the most, 7 for Messiah and 5 for Wahid.
Yeah. So you could give that to Haifa, maybe that what you're saying, like their defense caused those turnovers, or maybe they were a little bit sloppy.
But you know what? You could tell I think it's their defense, because you also look at the foul number, right? Haifa has 17 fouls, right? Like, they're playing aggressive defense, right? They are trying to get that ball, and it works for the most part, right?
You're right.
How many free throws they got? They got 19 free throws to 3 free throws.
Wow.
Right? Like, that's huge.
Yeah, you're right. No, they were there. That it makes sense because Tulkarem is not a very physical team besides Messiah. But I could see how that would happen. Although, and look at this, a 16 rebound difference, which is all Messiah, I guess. But yeah, that's really the takeaway here.
I want to see this game as well, because Dasar has this, he is a great passer.
Yeah.
And a lot of the times he ends up being the person bringing up the ball and distributing it. So I don't know I don't know if they've kind of like found a solution for that, like another role, like a player to take that role, because I mean he probably had his hands full with Messiah. You know what I mean? Like like
Messiah,
offensively,
not an easy task.
yeah. So like, yeah, I'd like to see a point guard from Haifa kind of take the reign.
Look at the number of shots, though. 63 shots. Yeah. Look at that. They 63 shots.
Huh?
How do you do 63?
That's 63 shots, and they only had 25.
But what I love about them is they're so balanced. They had 4 people in double-digit points. I mean, that's amazing.
No, that's
right?
great. I think actually this is something we brought up last week, and we were saying we should get more of these guys involved, and it looks like they did. They have 4 people now in double digits. That's great.
Right.
That's great. I think this is honestly, even though it is a loss, this is a step in the right direction for Haifa, especially seeing that second half. They're outscoring them 36-27. Bringing this game closer, coming back from 13-29 in the first place. Like, that's huge, right? You start that first half 13-29. It is, like, speaking from experience of being on the other end of that, it is not fun. It's demoralizing.
I'm being 0-5 at the same time, right? So you're probably thinking, here we go again.
Yeah.
But they came back and they outscored them in the second half. I mean, that's fantastic.
Props to them for sure, for bringing it close.
But if I were their coach, I would 100% just say shot selection. They're putting up a lot of shots. And I mean, 4 for 20 for Usama, 5 for 6. You gotta, do a little bit better than that if you're gonna. I mean, he's doing well. He's scoring 17 points a game. So he's got his rhythm going. But I will tell you, for whatever it's worth, our shooting percentage. I want to look back at this when we played against Messiah. He is such a force inside. And when you go up that 6, 8, 7 foot width, and he can jump, it really like. So I can understand a little bit.
Right,
I empathize with their shooting
that
percentage.
Makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense.
So, but I mean, you just got to figure out another way. We needed to figure it out. I think now we're putting the league on notice. Messiah is real. Right?
The Messiah is back.
Is the Messiah.
He's back.
So, you gotta league be warned. If you don't game plan, because we didn't. We were the first game. So we were like, we know Subhan, we don't, this team didn't even show up. We were there like 10 minutes and they're like, there's just none of them are there. And then they all walk in and we're like, there. And then all of a sudden we're like, who's this
guy?
He walks out to the court. We're like, it's like out of a movie. Like you walked into the wrong gym. And then you walked in, you just look up and they're all like, oh, he's there. I swear I did one. I got the pass. I turned around. Big fake. I went, to the right hand. Pick the shot. He blocked it.
Man.
Yeah, it was.
Even on fast break, you'd be going fast break. You just look back just to see Messiah's not there. You think they're chase down blocking. Freaking LeBron.
I'm telling you, watch out. He could be MVP. He can make a right. He's a sleeper right now, but not for very long. We're gonna make sure people hear it on the podcast, so nobody's surprised about this man. But yeah, they have a great team. I actually told them after the game, if you guys had discipline, you're the worst nightmare in the standings, right? Because with the playoffs, a number 1 seed might play this team first round and they get knocked off. And that's just unfair, right?
I think by the end of the season, though, they'll be
go
in
even
the
out?
top 4 or 5.
I hope so, because that's where I believe that's where they should be, because they've got the shooters, they've got the passing, they've got the rebounding.
They just got to
but
mesh.
they haven't, and they've got to have discipline.
Right.
They're telling me when I spoke to one of the people on their team, I won't mention who, he was saying that they show up to the games the minute before, sometimes even after the game has started or something. If they get those pieces together, man, it's gonna be good, man. It's gonna be a really, really good team.
All right, next game, Baysan versus Tiberias, and this was the Omar Singer show. This is insane, man. He hit 40 points.
Is that the season high?
I believe so. I don't think anybody scored more than 40.
40 is it?
Yeah, I don't think he even realized he had 40 as it was happening. I was stat keeping this game, and he would get to his spots with like such relative ease, and it was just kind of it was hard to game plan for him.
When you say his spots, I mean he shot 27 times. It doesn't seem like he's got where about not. It seems like everywhere sits not.
No, but I just mean like his team made it easy for him, right? Like
right.
They moved the ball around so well. Like you would think it was just him pulling up and just making it, right? Like no, like his whole team was involved. They were everyone was getting touches. They were swinging the rock, and then it would find him again in a great spot. And like you kind of, you were watching him, you think he had like his motor is just running, like he's running
But
the
I feel
entire
like
game.
we're watching it on the screen. I feel like after like 20, 30, like I feel like you gotta like double at some point. Do something like the guy has 30 points on someone's head. I don't know who he's guarding.
The problem is like if you're double, like he's getting the ball after the whole team has touched the ball. So like they're swinging that rock. You double that, somebody is gonna get wide open for a shot. Like, and you also have Mahruz who's finding his teammates. Like he's a great passer. I know, like again, we're not the greatest at capturing assists, but like he had more than no assists for sure. You know, I can tell you that.
I mean, it's almost like the same Messiah problem we were just talking about, where this is his first game. They didn't game plan for this, right? They didn't know who Omar Singer was. They didn't know how to. That's always the trick. Now that, because I think this was the last week to change your rosters, right? So now there's no more surprises. Everything is set. You're not gonna have any more Omar Singers and Messiahs coming in, right? But I think that really does throw you off when you got something like that.
Yeah. And on the other side, you have Ihsan. He just came off his 37-point night last week.
Wow.
So he had 17 today, 7
Mashallah.
rebounds. So he actually had the season high, and then was quickly topped.
That was a very short record.
Yeah.
I mean, he's averaging 20 points a game this season. I mean, that's
Ihsan,
legit.
right?
Ihsan, yeah.
Yeah. You know,
that's legit.
we played.
And 7 rebounds, steal, like pretty good overall showing.
He's playing great this year. And honestly, we played them first week, and we didn't think that he would kind of be that main option. We were kind of looking at Big Moose, but Big Moose was also kind of absent today. You know,
right?
Like he even said it in the group chat. He was saying he like forgot how to play basketball today. But
I love this Hawk at 5'10", getting 8 rebounds. There's hustling, right?
Ishaq was it's funny, like he shot 50% as well, 16 points, 8 rebounds. He's pretty shifty too. He actually got a top play last week. It was pretty crazy. He didn't know he had it. I talked to him after the game. I was like, yo, you saw the top play? He's like, what? And I was like, yeah, it was pretty funny. He was like, funny? Did I miss? Like I was like, no, I just commentated on it. It was pretty funny. He was like, oh, okay, I'll watch it.
Yeah.
But what do you guys think this team needed to get over that hump? They're kind of tied there on the rebounds. Fouls are about equal. Turnovers. Yeah.
I mean, that shooting percentage is really tough, man. Like, you know, you got Muhammad shooting 2 for 11. You got Big Moose 1 for 11. I mean, combined, they're 3 for 22. To me, sometimes
also a ton of 3-pointers, like 30 3-point shots.
That's are quick.
Well, to be fair, I think 12 of them were from Ihsan, but he made 5 of them, right? So that's a good percentage from the 3.
But you said the same thing that's on my team. Just that could be like a turnover. You had 43 missed shots.
Yeah.
43 missed shots. So you gotta
we even look at 3-point, like 1 for 7, 1 for 4, 1 for 4, over ball around for 3. Like I'm not really talking about Hassan, but the rest of the team, a lot of them are just feels like throwing up shots. Like not everyone respectfully is a 3-point shooter. There's certain people that are good.
I think their whole team are basically 3-point shooters.
Really?
Ihsan's a great 3-point shooter. Hamza can shoot threes. Ishaq is a great 3-point shooter, and so is MP3.
Maybe they just didn't show it tonight.
Yeah, maybe it just wasn't that night for them.
Yeah, everyone's got bad shooting days, but I think that was probably the difference here. I mean, they went into the half down 16, right? So, but they outscored them in the second half, which is good.
I think they just had a slow start, and that's kind of like honestly, Areeha though, like seeing that team with Omar Singer, it was just it seemed like it was a perfect fit. Like how much better of a fit? Like honestly, like that whole team, like he just had to come in there and score. The whole team took care of everything. They moved the ball around. They got him to his spots. They got him open. They fed it to him, and it just worked. Like look, if you look at Abdurrahman Sak, 13 rebounds, no points. He didn't even take a shot attempt. And if you look at his stats, he averages 10 rebounds a game. He knows his role. He's going to do what he's going to do.
He averages 2 points.
That is so invaluable. You can't understand how invaluable it is to understand your role. Like, people understand your role. It's so invaluable because, like, now he knows what to do and he's really good at it. Instead of him trying to figure out, oh, let me take, like, 10 shots and be a scorer, he's really good at what he does. That's not going to show up as good on the stat sheet as maybe some of these players, but if you know your team, that's just...
And it ends up being so valuable to the team. That's it. And that's kind of, like, why... Like, they had issues, I feel like, scoring. And then they added him. And then also, who's number 11 on their team? I think is it Sal? Let's see.
Salreen?
I think it might be. Wait, Oh, I guess they weren't wearing 11 this last game. He also has like I guess they had some kind of mix up with the jersey numbers there, but he had some great shots too. I think it is Halrain actually, because I recognize everybody else's name there.
Yeah.
He's also pretty talented as well. Yeah, this looked like a great showing from Tiberias. They're now, like, just after that addition, I think they're one of those, like, they were in that mid-level range. Now that takes them to the
That's
top.
a player can do that, just like
Yeah.
we talked about.
Well, let's see now that the league's on notice with all of how people adjust, right? Yeah, because if you have one big threat, teams can adjust for that.
The problem is before that threat used to be Mahruz. His drive was insane, right? Like they used to it was manageable when it was just Mahruz because you would kind of push him to shoot. He's not a great shooter. But now that you have Omar and then also the option of Sal, I think Sal dropped 20 something on us, I think, or something like that.
Yeah, Mahruz is a great player, man. And great stat lines, great player. So yeah, I mean maybe that's how they figure it out, right? You try to set up Omar, Mahruz, and they get that. Oh, and that could be fantastic.
All right, let's go to the next one, guys. Sabra versus Shatila. So this is the one we've all been waiting for. And it looks like it was an 8-on-4. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, stat sheet shows obviously 4 players. I know 2 of your guys.
Yeah, we had two of the guys we just added. Yeah. And they did very well.
Yeah, you guys go ahead. Tell me about it first before we get into anything.
So yeah, I mean, this is. Do you want to start?
Well, yeah. Because you said last time that I started talking about them. How you feel? How I feel what? We had some great movies. Whoa. No, I think overall, are the two people that came, Sean, deadly shooter, man. Like, we would see him, like, I think the only thing about him is that his confidence is a little lacking, but I think with behind the team and they see how good of a shooter we see, like him making shots and warm-ups and even the game, people are coming up to us like, who's that shooter? So I think he played incredible for what, just knowing the team. Our other sub also, like, at the beginning, you could tell he was kind of getting comfortable with the team, but also settled into his position. But I think they both would be really good adds.
Yeah. Look, man, Sabra is a great team. They're gonna be a problem for anybody, I think. It's interesting to see after we left how the team has sort of evolved. You know, it seems like Mohammed Al-Banna and Ahmed Al-Sayed have really taken on leadership roles and, you know, pushing the ball forward, which I think is great. Mohammed is fantastic. I mean, he's put up really great numbers. He's playing great defense. I will say that if there was one thing that I think that they could have probably improved on, it's their 3-point shooting. They were throwing up a lot of shots.
3 for 22.
A lot of shots. And you could see here, 3 for 22, 13% from 3-point line. You know, and it's interesting because when we were doing it, it was Kareem and Rayyan that were. But I see Rayyan here, and he's over 3. I mean, that's pretty good. He's 3 for 8. He's giving you, and he, again, like he evolved. I think he started taking a backseat to his big brother, letting him do his thing. And Mohammed really was taking that role. I know Mohammed wishes he probably shot a little bit better. It was a close game throughout. They were down for I think almost the entire game. So it was always trying to get back.
At the halftime, they were up by 3, it looks like.
Oh, were they?
But then you guys came out and took the win.
Was it
like second half?
I feel
you guys
like most of the game we were
8.
up though. But maybe I thought it was tied at half, but maybe.
Yeah, but no, this could be right. Yeah, but it was one of those games where it was really close, and for at least most of the second half we were up by a little bit. They would get a little bit bigger, but then a little bit smaller. But yeah, man, I mean they did their thing. I mean,
I also felt like they kind of underestimated how good the rest of our team is. I think they kind of thought as soon as me and my dad were not playing that it was like they said, there was going to be an easy win because you could see that even the smile on their face. Oh, you're not playing today. And like, it's like hard for them to control the smile on their face. Like, oh, it's only you feel better very soon. Like, obviously, though, they're good. Like, I'm sure they want us to get better, but like, not for this game, right after the game, you can be fully healthy. But right now,
oh, that's so.
But I think they really saw the depth of our team, and I think there's a lot of great players. You were talking about Aboudi?
Yeah, Aboudi, mashallah, he's, you know, always hustling. He got a lot of like backdoor cuts, nice layups. Malik is somebody who I think this team is not using enough.
I really like Malik.
Malik needs to take a more prominent role.
Totally agree.
Right? I think Malik maybe bringing up the ball or maybe not bringing up the ball, but just you got to get him more involved in it.
No, I think I would have him bringing up the ball. He's not like the flashiest ball handler, but he has this like a
He has
strong
so much
dribble,
value to the team.
and like
he never takes a stupid shot, I feel like. You know what I mean? And that's so valuable, and that like he can play on any team and really bring value, right? Like I think you guys know what I say this a lot about Sabra. I feel like you're going 2 for 11 from the 3-point line, or 4 for 17 overall. Like that is, that's what 80-90% of your team's shots. Like you know what I mean. But combined, you guys are what 31. Yeah, the top of your team shots right there. You know what I mean. Like I feel like the ball could have swung a little bit more. I mean, I see that.
Had 21 rebounds.
21 boards
great.
is nuts.
And I'm assuming
he was
went,
all over the place.
Yeah, and I think like a lot of those, I'm assuming he went right back up with them. And so I mean, that would make sense as to why he missed a bunch of them.
He took a lot of tough shots. I'll be honest. Not too many of them were those putbacks. He took a lot of tough shots where he was getting rebounds too, some of the longer rebounds. I felt like sometimes our age shows, and I felt like, because usually I'm the person down there getting a lot of those boards, right? We didn't have that type of intensity off of the boards this time. And so Muhammad, especially on those second and third efforts, he would just, and sometimes, and we were getting frustrated at ourselves. Like, come on, guys, let's go.
I think something we missed is like your boarding. Like, I think that like that presence of you even down there is just going to be, it's a whole different ballgame. Like, I think that if we get those boards, once you get those boards, I'm out on a fast break. I think those,
it's a different game.
I don't think they play the same way, and I think the game is not nearly the same. Because it's just board to fast break, and we even saw this is how we played even last season. If you roll the tape from last season, it was me to my dad or me to someone else, like just fast break. So I think that this team really needs to kind of diversify their scoring. I think that I don't know how many ways we can say it. Like, Hamdan Ben is a great player. There's nothing we should take away from him, but there's other really viable, like Malik is a great player. I can't really say
I think Malik is probably, even though 11 points looks like a lot, those points were a lot of like just those, and it'd be like like you just get a quick fast break or something like, but like he wasn't really involved as much as he could. And then on our side of the ball, Muhammad Amin did his thing, right? 13.7 rebounds. Tehran was hustling. Ahmad really carried us at the ends, right? Ahmad is the one came through
those free throws, critical.
The free throws and made them ice the game. 17 points, but he had his defense is really where he shines. We typically have him on one of the better players, and so we would switch him on and off Muhammad, and that's part of why Muhammad was only shooting 4 for 17 was Ahmad, and then we had Gamal also going back and forth. Gamal was also did fantastic. Had a tough first half. Gamal missed a lot of shots in the first half. Dylan more turned it on. And then Sean was a difference maker. Sean was the Asian kid that you're like, oh, he could play basketball? He was like draining. They're like, damn, he could play basketball.
We were discussing before, like me and my dad, because we were discussing like, oh, who do we start? Like, who do we start? And like, I was like, immediately I was like, we have to put Sean on the bench. But like, once you see him knock down shot after shot, you're like, oh no, I guess we have to change that up. No, it's just like, you really see that he can really play. And back to that point of knowing your role, he's great at that. He knows his role. He knows where to get to his spots. He's a great shooter. And as someone that I want to bring up that I don't think he gets enough props on our team is Muhammad Tehran. I think the leadership he brings, like I think my dad gets a lot of props for the leadership he has throughout the league and people notice it, but I don't think Muhammad Tehran gets enough of that.
Muhammad Tehran is ponytail?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, he has a lot of basketball knowledge. And he's just such a leader on the court. Like, through my absence, I don't think the game would have been the same through the absence of me and my dad without Muhammad Tehran on the court. He's kind of that leader on the court right now since we are not there. And I just think that it's really been invaluable. And I think that the stat sheet doesn't really show. It doesn't reflect how good he is.
And it never really does. I feel like a lot of times we're trying to make a story out of what we can see here for some of these games. Honestly, if you just look at the stat sheet, it'd be like 4 for 14, 2 for 11. What did this guy do? But I gotta say, it actually had some great passes inside that I noticed when I was watching the replay. And like I feel like there are just too many times that the Sabra possession just ends at the top of the key with like a contested three for my liking personally, right? But they are still a great team. They're loaded top to bottom.
I also feel like they get frustrated very easily. Like, I feel like they got flustered very easily.
Okay. No, I see what you mean. So you're saying they don't have that presence that they used to have with
Yeah.
with your dad.
I just feel like there needs to be someone like how I just brought up how we have my dad and Hamatorli. I like to see that on that team. I think they have a leader in scoring with Hamid, but I don't see that vocal leader that's really telling them or directing them what to do. That's just my personal opinion.
And to be honest, you like Kieran, right? Like if he plays on a team, I say this probably every pod. If he plays on a team, they lose. However, if he hits, wait, let me finish. Let me get it out. Let me get it out. The team loses. However,
That is the quote of the week.
however, listen, guys, I've tested this for the entire season. I'll tell you why. If he's on the team, they lose. But if he hits a 3, they win. And he did not hit a 3 against you guys, and so they lost.
Okay, there we go.
I guess that was the touch. I guess we just hit that 3.
That's the rule. He's the answer.
Damn,
if he hits
bro.
the 3, they win.
Don't take that, man. That is horrible. Oh my god.
Did you guys already play them or not yet? Oh, they're he's coming for that leg, bro.
He's coming for that leg. Oh yeah. Look, man, we're the oldest team in the league on that. Our average age is probably like 63. We probably have a 4-inch vertical. We probably run 40s, and
I'm still on this team, like
right?
Still like,
but
You're just there to bring the averages down.
I'm just there to equal down.
If it wasn't for you, it'd be 84.
We're gonna be on the touch. Like, oh, Junior.
we pride ourselves on our defense. That if you look under points allowed, we're the number 1 team. And if you look on free throw percentage, we're the number 1 team. And those are 2 statistics that we've been talking about throughout the night that will be the difference between winning games and winning championships. And that's what gives me a lot of faith that our team has what it takes to make that run. Because, look, we're allowing 41.8 points. 41.8 points in our league right now. And it's not like we haven't played teams. We played a lot
of the best teams.
We played a lot of the best teams.
You held Yazur down to 43 points.
I think Yazur, we kept to their lowest ever at 46. I was injured in that game. He didn't even play in that game. So we're pretty excited about, despite the.
And we're also pretty excited when I didn't play.
I think they were pretty happy. I think we just play smart, hard nose.
You guys have your own brand of basketball, and that's like we're gonna hustle on defense.
I make smart plays. That's it. If you're gonna play us, you're gonna see hopefully some smart basketball with some bad basketball mixed in. But so long as we can keep those 2, I don't care how old we are, we'll still be competitive.
Yeah.
Whoever the number one defensive team is in the league, I guarantee will always be one of the best teams. And I got to make a special shout out to whoever's doing the power ranking for being such a doofus, because they put us as number 5 or something like that, right? Let me just make sure. Yeah, we're number 5, and we dropped 2 rankings, although we kept Yazur to the lowest points that they've ever had. So whoever it is, some person, and then Sabra was above us, Baysan's above us, and Nazareth's above us. So let's see at the end of the season.
Our ghostwriter isn't getting paid this week. No, it's actually a fill-in for this week, so it's not even your
it's a
typical
fill-in?
person.
Okay,
Yeah,
good. So the actual ghostwriter.
Wait, so you're taking him back?
This is not
it wasn't
for you.
even me, bro. I'm telling you.
Whoever that
I
fill-in
promise
was.
you, I've written the power rankings maybe twice, and it was in the beginning of last season. And then a volunteer saw it and was like, "This is horrible. I'm gonna do it from now on." And that's how we've had it.
Drop the film back at Stop and Shop. Let them do their job bagging the groceries, but they're not supposed to be doing these power rankings.
Oh man, that's horrible. That's horrible.
I'm just playing.
All right, guys, let's go to that last game.
All right, let's go.
Yazur versus Ajur.
Oh man, A versus B, huh?
Yazur A team versus Yazur B team.
Oh,
I heard
man.
they circled these matchups at the beginning of the week.
Oh,
or beginning of the
man.
season, I'm sorry.
And they did not take it easy on them, bro.
it was
These are supposed to be brothers, man.
Commanding victory by Yazur. However, I will say, at the end of the first half, it was 33-30. So there's only a 3-point differential there.
Yep.
But what the difference was is in the next half, they really locked up on defense and they just killed it offensively as well.
Well, losing Hassan has to.
Yeah,
has
so
to
a couple
be the
things to
deal.
note with that. First play of the game, Hassan gets the ball, hits a 3 right off the bat. And then another couple plays later, he hits another 3. He was pretty much their like main scorer early on. So I think it was like so he ended up getting hurt, rolled his ankle early on.
Yeah.
And so at this point in time, Yazur, which is actually on the screen now,
Yeah.
they were down, I'm sorry, by 13 points, right?
Yeah.
Very interestingly, Hassan sits down,
Yeah.
the ball starts moving, Yazur catches up.
Wait, hold on. I want to understand.
What did you exactly say?
I'm just reporting on what happened. So, okay, all right, I'll be honest. I don't.
This is you before the pod. I'm gonna be so honest.
Halftime, I actually went over to that team and I said, because Hassan was looking like he was suiting up to get back in the game,
Right.
and I was like, listen, guys, you get back on the court. I said, you get back on the court. If you're hurt, don't come back in. But if you're ready to come back, don't be a ball stopper. I said that.
I thought you said don't come back in the game.
No, I told him.
Don't come back, but if you're hurt, don't come back.
I told him, I was like, don't be a ball stopper, because he's the most talented player on that team for sure.
Very
But
talented.
what happened was when he took a back seat, Abdul Traore, and like the ball moved, and Abdul Traore took a bigger role. And I honestly think that if Hassan and Abdul can run like some pick and roll actions, bro, it would be insane to see.
Yeah.
It actually
Yeah,
really would be. It would be so crazy
Yeah.
to see. And they have other talented players. It's not like they're playing with people that don't know how to play basketball, right? It's just like, I think Hassan, as much as I like him as a person and the way that he plays, he ends up a lot of times. He only took 7 shots this game, 3 for 7, but sometimes the rest of his team just sits there and watches.
Yeah.
When he has the ball, and I think a lot of times it's because he'll take a lot of like shots, right? And so like they feel like maybe
We don't
sometimes
even
they feel like
bother.
they're not going to get it back. What's up?
They don't even bother going.
Right. But I think if he runs if he watches maybe a what's his name, Nazareth, and watch how Shafiq and Mana play, right? If they can kind of emulate something like that onto that team, it would be a crazy team. It would be
Are we
actually
allowed
crazy.
to? Are we allowed to talk about the rule, or we're not allowed to talk
We can
about
talk
it?
about whatever we want.
Oh, we
here.
can talk-
I think, but before we get to that, I think that for Hassan, because our speaker spoken to, I think it's a lack of trust. I think he doesn't feel like he has anyone else that he thinks is going to score the ball. Not saying that's true, and I actually don't think that's true. I agree to your point, but in his head, until it gets through, or until he sees in his eyes that someone worthy of the ball gets the ball, because I've played with him. We've played high school basketball together. So like played with each other. Until he sees someone that he thinks is worthy of getting the ball, that's what he's going to
So
pass.
you're saying until they prove it?
Yeah,
like, okay,
exactly.
see what
Like
you're saying.
I had to prove to him in some way, and he had to prove to me in some way. But like, it just, he needs to see it in his own eyes. He can't have other people doing it for him.
Abdullah Silla is also very talented on that team.
Very talented, yeah.
And like, I really think that if they really can just get the ball moving, they're one of those teams like that we were talking about before. Like, they really just need to figure out that distribution, how that ball moves, and how to utilize everybody on that team. Because again, you have a really great rebounder and honestly a scorer inside in Abdul. You have a great ball handler.
Yeah,
and
basically a
shooter in
double-double.
Abdullah.
Yeah.
And then you also have Hassan, who's we all know from last season that he's a great player. And I to your point, I don't think that Yazur is better without him. I really don't. I think that they played really well when he was sitting because the ball was moving, like specifically because of that point. Yeah. But I do think that there is a reality in which he can be a part of that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that honestly, even him sitting during that time might have even shown it to him. Like, they brought it within 3 points when he was sitting down. Like, that's got to say something to him, even, you know, as a player. Like, okay, my team is playing really well right now, and I'm not even in, you know? Like, so
I do think these trade rumors, though, are going to shake things up.
Shake things up for sure.
I think there's, like, I think people know are going to know soon that Ali San might be going to that team. And I think that in him, I think he's also both. He's a good scorer and he's a good leader too. So I think he'll kind of set things straight. I think it's going to be hard for them to just originally, because there's two very ball hungry or good scorers too. But they're going to have to figure that out. I'm sure they will, but it'll probably take some time. But I think he'll kind of get them into shape.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's going to be very interesting to see. I honestly haven't seen that Alisson has been like more of a quiet player. You know,
Yeah.
He seems like the silent kind of killer rather than like Montaka, who's very vocal, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know how it's gonna work out. I don't know exactly what's going to happen. Like who's gonna be on what team and what. Like these are all just rumors at this point. I think Sunday we'll really know for sure. I personally don't know yet, and you know, so unless you guys know something, I don't.
I don't know either.
But
if they do end up getting a player or two, one of the top players from Yazur, then that definitely changes the entire league. It's not just those two teams. The whole league looks different.
And I honestly think that I was also hearing rumors that Abu Drahan would be the one sent to that team, and I honestly think that would be a better fit because Abu Drahan, if you guys remember from last year, would be the one in the high post. He'd get the ball there, and he would facilitate so well from that position.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? And I think that's something that, like, this team is missing a pure facilitator, right? Like, if they had something like that, that's what they can, like, they can use somebody to get it to Hassan, to get it to Abdullah when the time is right, to get it pick and roll with Abdul. Right. And if Hassan can fit that role, that'd be great. But if not, then who else can really do that, right?
Yeah. The thing that I'm not sure is accurate on this, I mean, I gotta look at this, but did Hassan really have 0 rebounds the whole game too?
I think because he got hurt, I don't think he was really inside.
He wasn't really inside?
He was more
okay.
on the perimeter. I did the stats in this game, and honestly, it was a mess because the jerseys were swapped, and then also there were certain players administratively, like on the Azure squad, that were on Yazur, like Yusuf Okana right there. He should actually be on Azure. And so we had to write his stats down on the notes as we're doing it.
And like Ali San's stats aren't even here. He's not even. He doesn't even
though
show
we
up.
tracked it, right? So it's like it was a whole mess of things.
Yeah.
That. But to be like, it was like towards the second half, it really was just kind of a blowout. We ended up calling the game with like a minute and a half left. Like it was.
Yeah. Mataka's still doing his thing, man. Still doing his thing.
He got better as a player over in the offseason for sure. He looks skinnier. His MBR is now 27. This season he's playing much. He's shooting 17% better. He's scoring about the same, but the rest of his stats, like he's averaging 2 more assists, 2 more rebounds, like shooting much higher percentage wise. Right. He's hitting his threes. Like he's playing really well in the role that he has on this team, and he's still the de facto leader of Yazur, you know?
Yeah, and he's a fun personality to be around.
Yeah. I'm actually trying to invite him onto the pod next week, so
yeah,
he'd be good.
There.
No, he's so mashallah, great guy.
But he'd be great.
Yeah, that's all I got for these teams here. You guys have anything else? I mean, Salihun Traore, bro, 11 for 15.
Well, he's always consistent, right? I mean, he's averaging 17 and 7. His MBR is at 28. I mean, they've just got like literally every single person on Yazur that I'm clicking on is 27, 28.
Same with Alassane.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Literally, they've got five or six players in the 20s, right?
Yeah.
I mean Alasane's up there too. So yeah, they've got 5-6 players in the 20s.
That's why they needed that nerf, right? That's why. And you had also
Usually
Abu Drahan and Alassane, right?
Yeah.
Like, it was just like, what the heck is going on here? Like,
usually you get a team with like 2, maybe 3. All right, but not like 7. Your third guy in the bench is got a 20 MVR. I didn't even get playing time, bro.
But yeah, I know some people that like I won't name names, but I know people that are upset with playing time. So I think this trade is not just good for the league, but people on that team that kind of want to play more, but are kind of restricted due to understanding better players.
Yeah. Is the person that you're referencing? Are you gonna send him the timestamp to this? So you'd be like, oh, I give you a shout out.
I don't know. I think it's better for both teams if they names them.
What I do love about both teams, though, to be honest, is I know they both travel from very far to be part of this league.
Yeah,
and it's really
beautiful.
It's really something special, and I really genuinely love like seeing them around.
They're great guys.
Their energy, they're always joking. It's like even our best games, like from last year to this year, even when we played Yazur, are always against them. I think we pull out the best in each other. They're always fun, tough games, and they're just such good guys.
Mashallah,
we really love them, and we hope that they continue to come because what they bring and have brought to the league is a whole nother dimension.
Sure.
That just you can't find it anywhere else. Like they've brought it. And I'm just so happy that they come all that way for that.
To hear that they I gotta say this again, but to hear that they drive an hour and a half or whatever it is to get here every week is crazy, right? So shout out.
That's what Muslim basketball is all about, man.
Shout out Yazur, shout out Azure, because I think both of them are really coming from that far.
I'll tell it to all the new people because I'm seeing a lot of new people in the league too. That we started with this back 2006. We've had so many different leagues, so many different people. This is how people. To find jobs, to make best friends, to, networking. You're a doctor. Oh, that guy, you go to med school, that guy's a doctor. people to understand more about Islam and Muslims. Like, there's so much benefit that's come from it. And I see now, looking around the league, so many new faces that I've never seen before. It just makes me so happy to continue to see that. So hopefully, inshallah, this league just continues to grow and grow.
And it's projected to, as we see. What was I going to say? Oh, it's funny. This mic actually was from Tariq Hamid, who actually I met because he wanted to do the pod with me. And he came over, we did the pod. We're great friends now. You know what I mean?
There you go, inshallah.
So that's the kind of stuff.
Great guy,
that's what
too.
This is all about, So
How many people you say, oh, remember that game?
Yeah.
No. You guys are still too young, but when you look back on it.
It's so funny. Hassan, we had here, I think 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And we talked about the first time we played them. And we were like, yeah, we held you to like
Yeah.
no points or something like that. And he was like, no way. And he like looked it up.
You can just look it
And
up.
he was like, he didn't even want to say how the stat line was. It was so funny.
You can look it up, man. Like, I could tell my kids that back in, whatever it was, 2007, I was the MVP of the league.
He loves bringing it up.
And they're like, what? Like, I can double. And they're like, what? And it's like, look at my stat line, right? And it's great that, alhamdulillah, that I get to play with my son, and I'm hoping that my next son will come, inshallah. And Dean is 13, he's becoming 14, so in 2 years he'll be in the league too. And hopefully we'll see a lot more of that in the league as we get.
You got to get a Shaban team going.
That'd be great, man. Inshallah, one day.
All right, guys, let's move over to predictions. We don't want to do this too long. So first game of next week, we got Bir Seb'a versus Nazareth. So this will be a real litmus test to see if Bir Seb'a has really changed anything.
Right.
But to be honest, I'm taking Nazareth. This is this is just a cut and dry league. This is one of our top teams in the league here. I don't think it's going to be a blowout per se, but because I do think Bir Seb'a has like figured certain things out. But I just think that I also feel like Omar Mana and who's their big? It's it's Salman. Yeah, I think Salman and Omar Mana will be very interesting to see down low. But I see Nazareth taking that cake.
Yeah. I think that it's going to be a win for Nazareth, but I do think that Bir Seb'a will keep it a little bit closer. Do we do over-unders here? Or?
We totally could.
Like, I guess, I was thinking 10 points, right? But
I think under 10 points.
You think under 10 points?
Yeah.
Wow, under?
I do think under.
Yeah, I mean, I can see it, but they're averaging more than 10-point losses, right?
That's true.
So, the question is, have they turned it around enough? But yeah, I think they will. Long story short, I think they will make it competitive, but I think Nazareth takes it both 5-1.
I think that's easy.
All right, second game, Areeha versus Baysan. And you know what? I made a living out of doubting Areeha, but I'm gonna actually and I've been wrong actually. So I actually didn't make a living. I've been broke, but I'll take Areeha for this one. I think I've learned my lesson. I think Areeha takes the win here, even though again I would say Baysan is more talented than Areeha. But
really?
Just Areeha, the way that they play is I think significantly better. I think they play like a unit. They play like a team.
They play like a family.
Exactly. They sure do. They sure do.
Almost like the all together.
They win by the power of friendship and family.
Right.
So I take Areeha for this one.
To your point, Areeha is second in the league in assists. And so that, to me, just speaks towards, that what you were just talking about, that chemistry.
Yeah.
Like they move the ball, you'll see they all touch the ball, but you know what? It still ends up in the hands of Little O, and he ends up getting the shots that he wants, right? Like
their weakness though is gonna be their points allowed, because they're also second in the league in points allowed, right? So, the wait, hold on. No, that's actually good.
Yeah,
that means they got great defense.
I think it's honestly
our
game
I said that
skewed
wrong.
it for them. Our game skewed it for them because they only allowed us 1 point. Remember?
Oh,
So we really
Okay,
beefed up that stat.
No, forget that. Yeah, forget that. Then.
1 point, bro. 1 point.
Yeah, I think Team Abasi takes it.
Yeah, I agree.
We should just rename that team Team Abas. Yallah, get over it.
All right. Third game, Tiberias versus Haifa. It's hard to say that Haifa would take their first win against a Tiberias team with Omar Singer, who just dropped 40 points.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have to go Tiberias here. I'm hoping that Haifa really does get their first win. Like, it's tough going through a whole league without getting that win. And honestly, we're 1-4. You know what I mean?
That redistribution should include them.
I think we offered it. We offered it.
Yeah.
So
You
didn't want it?
I don't think they wanted it, but I don't know what's
okay.
happening in the end.
Fair enough.
But
Fair enough.
it's that's the yeah. So
Yeah. I think that's
No, I think Haifa pulls it out.
No, it's about.
you guys got a believer in Kareem right there.
Yeah.
All right, next game, Akka versus Shatila, and I think we all agree.
I think we
here.
can skip over this. I think it's
Akka
cool.
will take this one.
I think it's a blowout, actually.
Wow.
So like if they
No, Akka blows out. Akka blows out.
can we go up to 0 points?
Has that ever happened?
We
I
could
think-
try.
No, speaking from experience, this was the lowest scoring half, the 1.1. So
Oh,
this
you
is-
researched it?
We've made MB history apparently.
Mashallah.
Unfortunate, right?
That is pretty unfortunate. Look, man, if you guys, it's likely that Kareem and I won't play. We might actually have an attendance issue. So yeah. So there might be. I mean, we'll have to wait and see, inshallah.
Like, our team is coming in hungry. Like, we were demoralized, yes, by last week's game, but like after talking to everybody's like, no, guys, like, we need a win, and especially this next week, we're looking at you guys. You're 4-1. We're coming in hungry, so I think we're gonna be hustling. Like, we're gonna be working hard.
The best thing you guys could do for us is push us, because everybody makes playoffs. This record is absolutely, I mean, besides seeding, means nothing. If you can expose something inside that, but I mean,
For us, it just means more than just like, for us, we're not 1-4. That's
Yeah.
like, we need to be better than this, right? Like, even if the playoffs, it doesn't mean anything. Like, I guess for now, because we're doing so bad, it just means more to us for that.
Right.
But
well, we wish you luck.
I'm looking forward to a good game though, inshallah.
Inshallah.
I play with one leg, but just
Hopefully
hop
you guys
rounds.
end up playing inshallah.
I hope so.
Unlikely. but we'll
All
see.
right, next game, Tulkarem Yazur, and this is going to be the new look Yazur versus the new look Tulkarem with Messiah. I mean,
I don't know. I'm gonna call the upset.
No, it's not. I think they'll go. I think Messiah. I don't even think it's an upset. I don't think it's an upset. I think if the right players get traded and evens out correctly, I think Tulkarem is the favorite and they end up winning.
wow.
I think I would not.
That is a bold claim.
That's bold. I would not go that far. I actually think that Yazur is still the favorite, and by a sizable margin. But because the Tulkarem just hasn't figured out their chemistry yet. Yazur, even if they lose 2 guys, they were 8 deep to begin with. They've got the chemistry. They know what they're doing. But I do think that Tulkarem is going to come in hungry, and if they can have a practice or 2, I hope they do. They could take it.
I think I take Yazur for this one. I think that it's going to be interesting to see how they look with the new look Yazur. I think it gives more, like, each possession becomes more of an impact possession, because now you have the same people touching the ball. It's going to be like, how are they going to really figure out that distribution? The rest is going to be less, but it also allows for people to really get going, right? We've been seeing these players filter in and out, and now it's going to be interesting to see what happens.
I think you guys are underestimating how much a player means, or like some of these players. Like, I think if you take a few people out of a few pieces out of the board, I think that it's just a different team.
Look, man, I think if I was to say a sleeper team of the year so far, it's Tulkarem.
Yeah.
Their record does not reflect how tough a team they are.
Yeah, they're gonna win.
So I take Yazur. You guys got Tulkarem for this
Yep.
one, right? All right, last game of the week, Sabra versus Ajur. This is also going to be an interesting game, in my opinion. And I think they might be one of the beneficiaries, potentially, for the Yazur new look.
Right.
So, I honestly...
This is gonna be a
This is gonna be a
tough
really-
one.
this is gonna be a really close
This
one.
is legit the toughest
This is
one.
going to
I
be a
think.
really close
I think this is going to be really close. I will say Sabra is probably reeling and pissed off about what happened last week, and they're going to come out firing, but they're going to see a whole new team. We're all going to see a whole new team,
Yeah,
right? And what does that look like? I don't know.
it's too unexpected to know. Like,
I'm going to go ahead and take Ajur for the upset.
Wow.
It's tough, but I think I'm going to take them. I don't think that the issues that we brought up here, I don't think they think that those are their issues. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I don't think they're thinking we need to get Matic more involved. We need to get Abudi more involved. I don't think they're thinking that we need to work on shot selection.
Right.
I think that they're thinking that their issues are completely different.
What do you think they think?
I don't know. I just think that, like, I think like the same issues that they've been having it the whole season.
Oh,
It's
right,
not
right.
really changed.
Okay.
I think just certain games they end up inching out with a win with some like timely buckets, which they're talented enough to make. But I don't think that they're really addressing the.
That was Kareem's point earlier. They don't have sort of that adversity who's taking a step back and sort of leading from that perspective. Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, I mean, look, for me, I think it'll just be too new for those guys. I think they'll get there. So I'll give it to Sabra just because I think that they're going to have a little bit more chemistry. Like, no matter who they get, it's two new players and just figuring that out. Even though they're they were one team and now they're separate, I still think that Sabra's pissed off and they're going to make, the chemistry moves that they need to against a team that's going to effectively be brand new. So I'm going to give the slight edge, but I do think it's going to be one of those, like, down to the last minute. Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I think most of Sabra's games have been that. I think, like, look, first game was a blowout against Haifa, but the next one was a 3-point game. Next one was a 1-point game. Actually, the next one was a blowout again, but then it was a 5-point game against you guys.
Yeah.
Actually, maybe, 3 of their games have been close.
Yeah.
I think this is one that would also be a close one.
I think Azure going to take it. I think I completely agree with Ibrahim. Like, I think exactly what I was going to say, Ibrahim said.
Yeah.
I think we're going to say it to them until we're blue in the face, but I don't think they're going to take our advice.
Right.
I think that there's no way they fix those problems in 1 week. It takes time for any team, but I don't think they're even going to put it into motion, to be honest. And I think a draw with 2 new players, Hassan's a great player. I think he respects a lot of the people on Yazur, and I think he's going to work well with them. I think they're going to come in, and I think there's a lot of underrated players on Azure too that don't even get mentioned. I think Azure takes it.
Okay, very interesting. That's our predictions.
And here are our top players.
And here we go. Number 10, Mahfouz gets the cross, takes it up and in, finishes the tough lay. Look at him get that cross right here on Moose. And the Pinoy step to get him in the air. And seals the deal with the double clutch. Number 9, Sal Raheen, mid-air adjustment here. Take a look at this. Unbelievable finish. Once again on Moose. But look at the adjustment in the air. Great finish. Amir Hassan gets the beautiful pass here, goes in for the reverse lay and one. Take a look at that in slow motion. You could just see the contact. What a finish. Number 7, Rayyan Al-Banna with the sweet cross here. Looking at him split that shell, get inside, and finish with the inside hand. This move was elite. Number 6, this one is crazy. Subhan, full speed floater. Look at where he jumps from. Throws it right there at the free throw line. Jumping full speed and just hands it. That was unbelievable. Number 5, with the clock running down for halftime at the buzzer. Enes hits the 3 and the celly gets cut out, unfortunately for him. Aboudi sold so hard on the recording for you there, bud. Number 4, Rayyan with the penetration and passes it to his older brother, Mohamed Al-Banna, for the up and under finish. Take a look at that again in slow motion. Unbelievable finish there. Running in traffic, the mid-air adjustment, and the off-the-glass finish. Number 3, these two are going to be a problem. Look at Subhan with the no-look alley-oop to Messiah. Unbelievable. That's a perfectly placed pass there, and perfect execution by Tulkarem. Number 2, MP3 gets the catch. Step back, fakes the 3, and finishes the lay on the other end. What a finish. Take a look at this sequence. Oh, cross him out of his shoes once, twice, and the finish on the help. That boy cooked right there. Number 1, this isn't just one play. This is Omar Singer. You've heard it already. 40-point night. Look at him go coast to coast with the and one there. and the celly. Look at that. These are just some of his toughest nuggets. It's a little bit of a highlight reel here. Oh, man, what a finish. And then here he is again with a quick cross, inside hand finish. That was elite. He couldn't play the defense better there either. It was just his night, Hamza. And to cap it all off, look at him here at the halftime buzzer to shoot the three and nail it. And we're not done yet, folks. Take a look at this one over here. This is more of a highlight also for Mahruz. With the penetration on the left here, he sees the team stacking up on the wrong side. Gets it all the way across back to Singer. And take a look at that finish. How did he do it? Wow. And for the honorable mentions, we cannot forget this beautiful feed inside from Mohamed Al-Banna to Aboudi, who caught his defenders slipping multiple times that night.
All right, guys, welcome back from the top 10 plays. Hope you enjoyed that. I didn't really have any announcements besides, again, keeping our family members in Palestine in our dua. And also, you said, what was his name?
Ed Idris's wife Zali. Please keep her in your adoptions.
Yeah. Aside from that, make sure you're coming in with your jerseys. Everybody wash their jerseys, make sure it's clean, and we'll see you guys on Sunday, inshallah, for these great matchups that we got coming up, inshallah.
Inshallah.
But thank you guys. You guys were great
Thanks
guests
for having
to
us.
have.
Appreciate it.
Absolutely. And we'll see you next time. Assalamu alaikum.
Inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.